Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, 2001 film, stoner comedy made by Kevin Smith. So Jay and Silent Bob are these recurring characters that have appeared in previous Kevin Smith movies as secondary characters and sort of comic relief. Those films include Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, and Dogma. And now they get to star in their own film to be the front and center. In a film that was made more or less to just get the entire gang from the previous movies back together again and have some fun on the set. So the story is this. In Chasing Amy, the main characters were comic book writers who drew a comic book about essentially Jay and Silent Bob. They created characters called Bluntman and Chronic that were based on Jay and Bob. And the latter two were getting royalty checks for lending their likeness to the characters, and now they find out that there's a movie being made about those characters, but there seems to be no money in it for them. So they decide to go on this cross-country journey from New Jersey to Los Angeles to Hollywood, and either get their share of the money or stop the film from being made at all. And of course, this journey is just a pretext to get them into all sorts of bizarre adventures filled with movie references, star cameos, and obviously dick jokes. Now, let me get this straight. This is not ambitious cinema. It's not deep, it's not thought-provoking or culturally groundbreaking in any way. In fact, I'd say it's on the exact opposite of the scale. It's a rather silly stoner comedy which is filled to the brim with crass jokes about sucking dick, farting, and all that other stuff. At times it is embarrassingly stupid and it's almost cringy to listen to some of the jokes. The thing that it tries to parody a lot of movies mainly, including Star Wars, The Fugitive, and Good Will Hunting, it does in a crude and obvious and absolutely not subtle way. However, weirdly enough, because it's very clear that Smith himself realizes all of this and none of the people involved, including himself, take themselves too seriously, it kind of works. I actually laughed more often than I expect, and certainly way more often than I'd like to admit. I enjoyed watching all the silly cameos, mainly because obviously all the stars involved are having a blast as well. So we've got Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Wes Craven, George Carlin, Kerry Smith, Will Ferrell, Jon Stewart, Shannon Doherty, Chris Rock, Gus Van Sant. It's probably the best part about the film. You go from scene to scene and get to enjoy all those familiar faces show up. Also, as much as I really like to call the film stupid and just be done with it, I kind of can't in good conscience do that because Smith makes pretty good use of movie tropes and the movies that he is parodying or laughing at. And yes, I said he does it without subtlety, but it nonetheless works quite well. The film has great pacing. I was never bored or looked at my watch. The production value, cinematography, music, camera work, it's all done on a budget very clearly. But again, it fits the kind of movie that this is. And I don't want to give a false impression on the other hand. This is not a film that just about anyone will enjoy as much as I have in the end. I think the key thing here is that Kevin Smith has really made a movie mainly for people like himself, that people like himself would enjoy. People who are familiar with cinema in general, with comic book world, and with general pop culture. And of course, people who will not be turned off by the occasional toilet level joke. Now, if you fit that description, I'd honestly give it a go. Get some pizza and beers, kick back on your sofa and relax, and you may enjoy the movie quite a lot. If not, well, you probably wouldn't.